Right. Wales voted 52%, sort of reflecting the nationwide vote, 52-48, in favor of leaving. What they did not vote for, there was never a mandate from Wales or any other part of the United Kingdom for a no-deal Brexit. That is crashing out of the EU without a deal. Everyone thought that a deal would be in the offing, a deal that would make some sort of trade arrangements with the EU, which would be able to support what is the world's second, in the case of Wales, second largest lamb exporting industry. After New Zealand, Wales depends on its sheep and its lamb exports, mostly to Europe. Europe's the biggest partner. Now, some ministers in Wales will tell you, well, we have other options. You know, we just signed a trade agreement with Japan, and Japan's going to eat some of our lamb exports. That's true, but it's about a tenth of the exports that they count on for the European market. Think of yourself in the result of a no-deal Brexit, and this is why Welsh ministers are telling Boris Johnson in no uncertain terms that the result of a no-deal Brexit would be absolutely, in their terms, catastrophic for Welsh farmers. 40% tariffs or even more on lamb exports to the EU, which would essentially eliminate, almost wipe out the entire market overnight. They would no longer be able to sell to the EU with those prohibitive tariffs. And almost half of their meat, let's remember, is going out to export of their sheep meat. So it's no trifling matter for Welsh farmers. They are literally really up in arms over this. And Boris Johnson, excuse the term, he comes in as the black sheep, telling them that there's that no deal, that he has everything under control, that he's setting up funds to be able to compensate farmers. There'll be other great markets for the lamb exports after a Brexit. But the fact of the matter is, this is just sort of a microcosm, just one issue among many that point up the absolute catastrophe, as they put it, that a no deal would be for big industries.
And of course, there is a deal on the table. However, part of that deal is the Irish backstop, which Boris Johnson has said is completely unacceptable.
Right.
And that made for a very tricky conversation with the Irish Taoiseach, the Irish leader, who says the backstop is very necessary for the Irish.
Yeah, very necessary. And so far, there is absolutely no alternative. Leo Varadkar, the Irish counterpart for Boris Johnson, was very clear in a phone call earlier today and said basically, yeah, perhaps somewhere down the road in the future, there will be some sort of alternative arrangements that can replace the backstop. But as of now, they are yet to be identified. No satisfactory arrangements in lieu of a backstop have been identified. The backstop is right now the order of the day. No one is bending on the backstop. He was equally clear, Leo Varadkar, to Boris Johnson, that the 27 other members of the European Union are absolutely united in their determination to keep the withdrawal agreement as a withdrawal agreement. They are not reopening that for renegotiation. And there's almost a who will blink first aspect to these talks, to everyone he speaks to, Boris Johnson, as if he thinks that if he holds out that no-deal prospect long enough and with enough determination, the EU will blink and somehow all of a sudden come to its senses and start negotiating on that withdrawal agreement. There's no sign of that happening now and perhaps not even down the road. So very interesting early days for Boris Johnson.
Douglas.